in no particular order. So we'll record it. So what I would also like to do is just, I know a lot of you guys who especially been to our events know some of our preferred partners and some of you don't. I also know that you're used to being harassed by vendors constantly. That will not happen today. Nothing, I mean, look, yeah, you're laughing, but it's like, I'm fully transparent. Nothing what we do with Chicago real producers is possible without the support of our preferred partners, but they're really not here today to sell themselves. I'm sure they'd be glad to connect with you afterwards if they can help help or add value in any way. But the reason I invited them on the call today is that as you are experts in your field, they are experts in their field. And so sometimes, they have eyeballs on the ground in their industry that you don't see. So, I feel that they can be a great resource into helping you work through some unique obstacles. So, let's see here. I think, Jason, you were on the call first. If you don't mind doing the same thing, then we'll go to Ryan, Cheri, and then Stephen. And then I'll kind of transition after that. Jason, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Andy, thanks for putting this together. My name is Jason Chmielewski. I'm the managing attorney for JMC Law Group. My firm specializes in residential real estate and been doing that for about 18 years now. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, cool. My name is Ryan Cotter. I'm the market leader for Movement Mortgage here in Chicago, and I've been in the business since 1995.
Hi guys, Andy, thanks. This is Cheri Kasella. I'm with Home Staging and Redesign. Our company has been open for 11 years. Prior to that, I think I might have you all beat. I was in mortgage lending since 1991. I don't look that old.
No, you don't. And hi, I'm Steve Wrought, owner, inspector, HouseCall Inspections here in Chicago. We started the company 2003.
No, that's great. Now, this is very organic. So obviously, I want to, if a realtor wants to go first, actually that would be fine. So just I'll filibuster and you can think of some stuff to say. And I believe I put this in the follow-up email, but I would just love for everybody to take a couple minutes and share an update on just what they are experiencing in the market, or just any strategies that you have implemented that have been working or not working. And so obviously, if there's like a 27-second pause between interactions, I'll jump in and get conversation going. But I have found really fast, the less I talk, the more people get value out of this. So feel free and ask each other questions, what everybody else is seeing. So if there is, if not, I can just call on someone. Let's see here. Collin, would you mind going first? Just what you're seeing out there, and just anything that's been working or not working, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that too, because most people will probably say very similar things, at least on the real estate side for agents. But for us, we've been doing pretty steady Eddie. We've been trending with the same numbers as last year. If anything, we've seen maybe less volume from a number of people we're working with, but increase in sales price. We've obviously experienced quite a bit of drama with the lending side of things, but in the past 3 weeks, we've noticed a distinct change in the dynamic of setting expectations realistically and ultimately being able to close on deals that, seemed to originally be pretty tough. We were still able to close, and is really the bottom line. If there's been a constant that I've seen personally, it's been first-time home buyers and investors, and we work with all the above. So it's been great to, formulate more relationships, especially those that are pre-existing clients that were never actually interested in being an investor, or now coming on market, trying to toy with the idea of what can I afford? Is this even making sense? And oddly enough, with that is some people that we're working with right now are buying 2 flats in Logan Square, right by you and me, Andy, and they're doing conversions into houses. So I personally have never worked with that before. I'm now working with, I have a decent background in, renovations and construction. But that's been something I found quite interesting. In the midst of a global pandemic, people are still willing, and at least in my world, to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to make a custom home, and understand that, this is a goal that they're probably going to hope to own for, 10 to 15 years at minimum. So I've seen that as one of the bigger changes that we've had. over at least the past year.
Are you?
I'll jump. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
I'll jump in here. Nick Libert, Exit Realty. We've been very surprised. I mean, I own a brokerage, so I've got 200 something agents that I coach and talk to every day. My personal sales and a lot of our agents that are really focused, laser focused on the lead generation of the business, our business is actually the same or up over last year at this time. It is mostly first-time home buyers and investors, exactly like Collin said. It's mostly the lower end, you know, the 150 to 350 K homes are the ones that are moving. We're not seeing as much movement in the higher end. I think that part of the market, people are kind of taking a little bit of a seat. But back to Andy's original question, as far as what's working for you, what's working for us is reaching out and touching people. I think the agents that are seeing their business grow in this time are the ones that are providing value in terms of events, just reaching out and touching people, seeing how they're doing, especially in COVID and even more so the last couple of weeks. The agents that are sitting back and kind of waiting for this all to go away are going to be the same agents that didn't make it through 2008, 9, and 10. So it's been an interesting time, but we are, you know, not only making do, we're growing at this time. We're very surprised about that. We were expecting the worst, and we're pleasantly surprised so far.
Are you seeing that people that maybe you were talking to getting ready to sell are hesitating at all?
Oh, yeah, I have personally, big time.
Yeah.
At least 75% of our listings that we had that were supposed to be on market are still not on market right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, you know, having more profound ideas about what their goals are. You know, those that were not necessarily able to articulate, this was my distinct reason for selling. Now they've either gotten off or gotten on the bandwagon as to, you know, have a distinct need. So I found, you know, with buyers and sellers alike, the people that we're working with have real needs and wants, rather than those that are just toying with the market. I see they've already fallen to the wayside. I bet those people are going to come back in the coming weeks, though.
Well, that's it. They talk about all this pent-up demand, but I have just heard from the realtors I've been talking to that it just seems like it really is kind of the seller that's trying to make that decision. I've also heard, and maybe you can tell me if you're seeing the same thing, that buyers aren't as willing to go into houses and look at properties. That's been a little sluggish as well.
I haven't experienced the buyer portion of that. I see a lot of still. What was surprising to me is that people didn't really care. That they said, "Okay, I will wear a mask, wear gloves, but I'm still going to tour the property." So, from a selling standpoint, we obviously, I think everyone here in the room who's doing, you know, listing at home is going to account for the needs from more of an emotional standpoint, to be empathetic to those that do want masks, do want gloves. If there's babies involved, you know, obviously making sure we've got hand sanitizer and limiting the amount of people in it. But buyers I've seen are pretty interested in still going into homes.
Yeah. Are you seeing an exodus to the suburbs with any of your?
No, everyone asks me that, and I hear other realtors. I mean, I'd be interested in hearing what you guys say as other realtors on the team over here. I have not experienced that, but I have other friends in the business that are experiencing it. What I do see is that a lot of my friends in my sphere are buying larger homes. They have yards or duplex down condos, as opposed to like the duplex up, you know. So, but I haven't seen many people, you know, flock into the burbs.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I have personally seen some movement to the burbs, but I've also seen some movement out of state, period. That is something that surprised me, where people go, you know what, this overall has changed my mind on city living, on living in Cook County, period. I think some of you guys know that I've also got a license in Indiana and Michigan, and I've just seen people go, I don't even want to be anywhere near the big city. I want space. I want a yard. So it's been interesting to me that it's not just a location change, it's a lifestyle change. But that's not everybody. There are some people that just go, I want a bigger space. I want to be able to have a home office, you know, maybe a home gym, something like that.
Yeah, we've been, for staging, we've actually had some very specific requests, definitely for showing more office spaces and not just one, showing multiple spaces. Yes, we got a request for a gym. So I think those sorts of trends, obviously like mudrooms as well, all those trends of things that people want, you're really showing off outdoor spaces. Like, we're definitely getting very specific requests. Usually people come in and are like, just do whatever you think is necessary. But we are getting those more specific requests, even to the point of, we stage something, hey, would you guys come back and change this out and do this now? So making it appeal to those things that are now more important after all this is definitely happening out there. So
what are you guys doing to showcase the outdoor space as far as staging?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so we always try to, it all depends on the space, right? And I feel like in Chicago, you either have that tiny little balcony that you can do the 2 chairs and a table in between, or you've got the multi-functions, functional larger space. So we try to, if the client's willing to pay for it, we will do that. We'll do a seating area, we'll do dining, maybe another little separate seating area. Yeah, we'll do as much as we can to show, and that goes for not just outdoor spaces, but for, say, that second bedroom. We always try to put, along with an office space in there. As much as we can, we try to show multi-purposes for those rooms.
Cool. Smart. I don't know. It's been like real oddly busy. Same as you, Nick, and you, Collin. I mean, numbers are trending exactly the same as a year ago, which has been a huge surprise. Lower volume, higher price points. But I'm seeing relo buyers. I've got 2 different couples from Boston coming in. I've got a couple from San Francisco that are moving here. So it's kind of weird. I'm seeing an influx into Chicago, right in the downtown area. And they all want to be close to parks and public trans. Those are the big things right now. But yeah, it's really wild, really wild.
I actually see the whole cycle kind of going, like, I mean, I have clients moving from the suburbs into the city, people from the city wanting to move out to the suburbs, and then people doing the exact same thing, going to Indiana. I'm actually putting a bid on a bunch of acres in Indiana because it's so cheap. I mean, you could pick up, I'm looking at 2 buildings on 20 acres outside of Fort Wayne, because that's where the missus is from. Opening bid's $150. So and the taxes are like $1,200 a year.
Oh.
And it's in a great school district. So like that payment's going to be very similar to my car payment.
I would have to say on my end, I deal with a number of different agents. So probably 40, 50 different agents I'm dealing with on a daily basis. And I think initially at the beginning, I saw a quick drop. I think everyone kind of, hey, the state shut down, everyone's all worried about it. But probably by beginning of May, end of April, things started picking right back up. Agents were out there, everyone was out there, like you guys were saying. I mean, if people need to buy, they were out there looking. Mm-hmm. And I guess the good thing was I see that the contracts coming in are sticking together more. I mean, the people that are putting offers are serious. They want to be out there. They want to get deals done. It's definitely more in the mid-range. I hadn't seen $1 million deal come across my desk until this last week. Now I had 3 of them come across, so that was, maybe a good sign for everyone that things are starting to open up in the higher end market. But yeah, I think, a good job to everyone out there that is in this industry to keep things moving, figure out ways to get things done. From Ryan on the lender side, the lenders have been very responsive with calls, inspections getting done, maybe not normally how we would normally do an inspection, but hey, we figured out a way to get these things done. Same thing with title companies. You know, and goes for, you know, real estate attorneys, the guys that do this. You know, the guys that I talk to on a daily basis are figuring out ways to make things get done for their clients, make sure they feel protected, you know, from closings to, you know, negotiating and attorney review stuff.
Can I ask you a really crazy question? I was on a Zoom where an attorney was talking about closing credits for COVID cleanings. Are you seeing any of that?
I have not seen that one yet.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen credits to ask to get places cleaned, but, you know, I know some of the COVID cleaning requirements that I've seen are upwards, you know, $500-600 for a cleaning for, you know, like 1,000 square foot apartment. So no, I haven't seen any big issues like that.
Okay.
Are any of you guys doing physical open houses yet?
I just did this weekend.
How was it?
Miserable.
Yeah. Did you have people show up?
Yeah, I think we helped at 2 of our listings, and 1 of our listings got 1 couple who grateful that they came by.
Yeah.
They came with masks, fully gloved, good to go, respected the space, didn't touch anything. But we're buying in end of 2021. You know, so all right, come on through.
Yeah. Are you doing waivers, any sort of liability waiver for the attendees or for the owners?
No, I mean, listen, my experience is that people are going to sign a document because they want to see the home, right? But are we all that well educated or well versed that we've gone through the various betters to understand, have we been thoroughly exposed? I mean, if you've had it, yeah, of course, then don't go. I think that's also just kind of human nature and ethical. Like, don't see people if you've been exposed to it. But I don't ask for waivers. Our Compass has not asked for waivers. I know a few other companies have. And none of my clients have had an issue. Sign it, we're good to go.
Cool. Sohail, you guys are doing waivers, aren't you, for showings?
For showings, yeah. We actually did our first round of open houses this past weekend, and they were great for us. So we actually got 2 offers, and I know that we don't get too many offers from open houses, but
Wow.
we put 2 under contract from the open houses.
Were they condos or?
No, one was a single family home at 6332 School,
Okay.
and another one in a home in Lincolnwood on Kenton.
Wow.
Yeah.
So far, I have not. So we just did our first round of open houses last weekend. And I still set my own open houses. I only do an hour, so I call them power hours. And I've always done it that way. Some of our agents ask for waivers. I kind of find them useless. I don't know who was speaking, maybe in Sohail, that said, you know, I'm like, well, you can sign them because people want to get in the house. It doesn't mean you're not going to get sued. So we did one for our agents, but I'm not using them. The open house that I did was a little hectic. We had a good turnout. We did digital ads. We found people who still wanted to see things in person. I think it depends on what buildings you're in. This was a house in the suburbs. Some of the city buildings still aren't allowing open houses, so you've got to ask the management company, the condo management. But we had a good turnout. I actually sold my property at the open house, and which, you know, doesn't always happen. So I think they're still productive. You just got to, you know, spend the extra time getting ready and having the right materials, because I personally don't want to get sick. I don't want my seller sick. I don't want the buyer sick. And you have people various degrees of, I had somebody walk into that open house that refused to wear a mask. And I'm like, well, sorry, you can't come in. At the same time, you have people that want, you know, a full body suit on at the same time. And I'm like, well, you know, we got masks and we got booties, and that's what we got today for you. So I think we're all just trying to navigate that, but I'm not going to let COVID stop me from doing my fiduciary duty to my seller with the right safety precautions.
So I have a question for the agents mainly. So I'm always looking to be proactive, you know, for my agents. And, you know, out there with everything going on, is there anything differently that you would want, that you would need from your real estate attorney that could help you with the process? You know, whether it's negotiating a contract, working attorney review, or anything related.
I mean, setting expectations, you know, real estate expectations, timelines. For me, that's big. in general. I think whether or not COVID was around, I think that's the biggest thing. Otherwise, you're getting people that are, blowing up the realtor, expecting answers when we can't give them some answers. And it's tough, especially when their anxieties are already a little bit higher than normal. And I've experienced that quite a bit over the past month where, listen, I want the answer too, but sometimes there's a third party involved and we can't get it. So it requires a little bit of the team concept to make sure that all avenues are saying the same thing, that we're working on your benefits and ensure that that's going to happen. But communication, I think, is at the end of the day the same thing.
How have inspections been going for all of you that have performed those in the past couple of months? Anything, obviously, from my standpoint, it's been a lot different, but from your standpoint, any different? Like attendees, things like that?
Yeah, there was one of the first ones when they started to lock everything down. They wouldn't let the buyers in the house. They also didn't want the agents in the house. And that was probably the most extreme one. So everybody just sat in their car and waited till it was done. And then out in the front lawn afterwards. Yeah. So that was the weirdest one. But the other ones, sometimes you could sit in the house. Usually the buyers are in there though with the inspector.
Okay.
Different.
I was asking realtors and clients to come for the past or for the last half hour, 45 minutes, depending on the property, just to give the clients a walkthrough, show them everything that I found, and just a little bit of communication and keep our distance. And for the most part, it's gone okay. There was a couple of people that really wanted to tag along with me, and I was like, okay, I was wearing a pretty tight mask, so it didn't bother me that much. So it hasn't changed a whole lot. I think from the seller standpoint, they were a little apprehensive about letting anyone in, just like you said, Chuck. But specifically the last month, it's laxed, I think, a little bit. More people, half of them that I've done have been vacant, so that wasn't really an issue so much. And kind of like what Collin said, a lot of my clients, I'd say 75% of my recent clients are first-time buyers that have been looking for a couple of years, and all of a sudden just decided to jump in because the price is probably right and the loans are everyone's getting a nice rate on your loan. But I have done 2 $1.5 million homes in the past week, which was kind of surprising. So they're out there.
So I promote that sub 3.0 30-year fixed. I tell people it's like free money. When you factor that the interest rates are 3%, you got a tax deductibility factor. So let's just say you lop off a third because Uncle Sam's taking a third from you. And then you got a net effective interest rate of 2%. You got this thing called inflation that says next year my 100 pennies is only going to buy 98 or 99 cents worth of stuff. So it's pretty cheap money. I mean, buyers, the affordability factor, the stats that we see out there, number 1 search on the internet is home search, and number 2 is baby registries. Right, so that means people during the pandemic are getting it on and having kids, so they need, they need bigger places, right? So they're going to look for that extra room. So I mean, all these perfect points should basically, go towards a super busy, third and fourth quarter for the real estate community. So I mean, just keep on, pressing people with like Collin, those guys that said they were going to buy at the end of 2021, you're going to miss out on 2.99 30-year fixed if you wait that long. Sure, you want to wait that long? Might be able to get a few of them to move with the teaser, a fear of missing out on a super low 30-year fixed.
So what, we talk so much about COVID. Going into this year, at least what I considered was the spring and the summer needed to be really strong because of elections in the fall. Are elections going to be an issue now for real estate? Or has COVID overshadowed that?
For me personally, I think that COVID, the issues going on with diversity, all of that have overshadowed, the fact that We have no idea whether we're going to be inside or outside in 4 months, what the stock market's going to look like. I think that there's so much uncertainty now that the idea of who's going to be the next president is in the background compared to, are we going to be sick? Are we going to be outside, et cetera? I think that there's so much going on right now that obviously that election will affect things, but people are not waiting for the election. People are either looking now or they are way sitting back in the distance because of all the uncertainty in the meantime.
So if we're okay with COVID and certainly with the protesters and what's going on with all of that, do you think the fall could be strong, or do you think our attention will then be the election? You know, it's a crystal ball, right? But I'm just wondering if you know, if fall, given for many of us the stopgap in the spring, because we did really halt our operations, you know, do you think we can count on the fall if everything stays great?
I think all the statistics point towards that, you know, being the case, just because Chicago, you know, is truly you know, it sounds crazy because we live here, but is an affordable place to buy, you know, nationally, right? You know, so, you know, despite all the things that have happened, you know, we've just seen like incredible resiliency in the buyers out there, you know, and I do a lot of multifamilies, like, you know, specializing in like low down payment for multifamilies and renovation loans, you know, and like even people getting into the properties, which is a little bit more challenging when you're dealing with like, you got to now work with tenants to get in to see like what needs to be done. You know, these people are just like, you know, passionate about buying real estate. And I think that's going to be the case for, you know, for the rest of the year. And it's not my opinion. Like, I'm taking a culmination of like a bunch of really, really intelligent people that are saying, you know, you got the, you know, the demand is there, that the supply is not. That's the problem. But the demand is there, affordability is there. People that are, you know, in their house, like if they're in a 2-bedroom condo, they hate their 2-bedroom condo now. They want to buy a single family. If they're in the suburbs, they hate their neighbors now, and so they want to move back down in the city, right? So that's like what we see. So it's just like everybody wants to move, in my opinion. I mean, it just seems like that. Everybody I talk to, and you know, like in terms of like, if you talk to a lot of people in the mortgage industry, like we're slammed, and it's a lot of purchases. It's not just all refis. You know, it's like, you know, our purchase volume is up year over year. So I think that continues, but you just don't have the supply.
Yeah, I think inventory is going to be a big thing. I bet the fall will be strong, but I think, you know, it's going to be a very odd, precarious time with, you know, who's willing to buy at what cost. You know, I think a lot of my buyers are thinking that they're going to get a discount in the near future. I've got people calling me, when are the fire sales going to occur? When are the foreclosures happening? And I don't think we're going to enter that for some time, but you know, I think it really just depends on each person. But overall, I believe the fall will be very strong up until around October, towards the end of it. And then I bet it's going to be a pretty dull winter.
Yeah, go ahead, Collin, sorry.
Unless you've got a great pipeline. I mean, I came into the year with a great pipeline. That's the only reason why I believe that I'm still here, you know, doing what I'm doing. But, you know, if you don't have a pipeline, any of us, you know, I think that we're going to suffer during the winter just slightly, especially with, it's a perfect storm. We got protests, we got riots, we've got COVID-19 that is certainly not going anywhere anytime soon. So, and then plus the presidential election with 2 very interesting candidates, it's going to be a very odd dynamic.
What everybody's doing, and this is for everybody, what everybody's doing now to sort of make their pipeline a little bit more plush for, you know, October, November, December, January, if anything. I'm just curious. I'll throw that one out there.
Say that one more time, Andy.
Make sure their pipeline's more plush for the like late fall, early winter.
I mean, for me, I think what Nick said is, you know, crucial for either attorney title company, inspector, whoever, if you're in the business, being more empathetic to the circumstances, talking to people not about sales, being there for them. You know, what we've done is granted it was a bit of a risk. We ended up just going out to all of our clients and hand delivering a pizza to them. Hi, we love you. Hope you're alive and doing well. Simple as that. Sending out cards, calling people. Nick was saying just to check in on them. We've been doing that since day one, you know, but it's even more imperative, in my opinion, to keep that in the forefront. And I believe because of that, you know, in February, we were doing that as well. That's why we've got people that are coming out of the woodwork talking to us saying, I'm ready to buy in the fall. We got a number of buyers right now that are doing that.
I love the pizza idea.
Yeah, we we went with what was that place called? Happy Camper.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Camper. The day that they went viral on one of their they always come up with good little quirky ideas to instill business. And one of their ideas was in a pizza box, you'll have the ability to ice somebody with a Smirnoff ice. And I've got a few people in my life that would appreciate that. Not everyone does. Smirnoff ice, if you guys don't know what that is in this room, you're probably best off not knowing what it is, but it's a crappy kind of liquor drink. It's like all sugar. The point was to instill an interaction. So we said, okay, we've got some people that it will apply to. The vast majority would not appreciate getting iced. So how are we going to be able to leverage this and try and work together with a different company, giving back to them? And we ended up doing a lot of pizza. It wasn't cheap, but all the proceeds for these Smirnoff ices went directly to the employees, and the pizza obviously went back to the company, which in my opinion it's been a growing staple. I mean, they've got Home Slice, they've got Happy Camper. It's growing throughout Chicago as well as in other states too. So I thought it was a great idea, and everyone loved it, and everyone reposted on social media, and it was a very easy, organic thing to keep in touch without saying, hi, I'm a realtor. Nice to see you. Are you buying this year? You know, or are you selling?
One more thing that I would say, I love the pizza idea. One thing that I'm thinking of doing that I haven't yet, but I've been coaching our agents on, is to go out there and get more listings. You know, if we have a shortage on inventory, which it seems like to me, my clients are struggling in certain neighborhoods to find stuff that they want. Sure, there's the junk that's been sitting there for 6 months, but the good stuff, the new fresh stuff that's priced right, is going like that because there are a number of buyers that are out there with the timeline. What we're coaching our agents on is to go out and get more listings, get that inventory up. So then, you know, yes, it's about your database, absolutely. But it's also, if I don't have a big database of people that want to buy, why not get some sellers? Because the inventory is low and it's going to be low. I don't see any push to, that's going to change that in the coming months.
Nick, we've done the same thing. I mean, when I started the business a little over 6 years ago, one of the first things I was told was, okay, your buyers are great, but your listings will sustain you, you know? So take that into now. I mean, people are obviously aware of the macroeconomics of what's going on in the United States. We've seen single-handedly the stock market drop wildly within a few days. And it's transpired to a lot of people reaching out, but also us actively going into different markets, you know, with the intent, hey, this might be an opportunity for you. You know, here's an opportunity that we would love to give you some info. And if it makes sense to you, we'd love to assist you in selling it. And it's worked out pretty well for us. We've got more listings than we ever had, ever. So, but now we have to sell them.
So something we've been doing, which really, anybody could do, is just focus more on our social media. We were, always did social media just because we were like, okay, you need to just start getting yourself out there, but we have really focused it. We're actually providing content now, which for us as stagers, we have the luxury of going off into interior design and talking about lighting and furniture and trends. And so that's been, instead of selling ourselves, we've been talking about, really giving them a little bit of information. Like we had a series for outdoor spaces, like how you could build your own outdoor space. So we've actually kind of marketed that. I'm actually missing it Tuesdays at 2 with Haven. And we actually started getting a little bit of following. We actually had somebody from England join one day, which was kind of exciting. but just providing content and not, again, not selling ourselves, but just giving something to, not only our realtors that follow us, but anybody else on Instagram that follows us can join as well. So that's also been nice because it gives my team, I haven't been running it at all. I've let my team run with it, and it's really given them something to do and something to do that's different, that they can do from home, giving them some purpose. So I think just staying, like you guys are talking about, staying out in front of your clients, that was a way for us to stay in touch with, without actually, selling ourselves. So.
You guys investing money into that, or are you guys doing it more organically?
No, we're doing it all ourselves. And we've partnered up with other, we've probably done, half a dozen spots with realtors. I've reached out to some realtors to pitch the idea of, do you want to come on, or would you like us to come on and bring your sellers to us, and we could sit and talk about this on a Zoom. It's kind of sky's the limit. Whatever anybody wants to bring to us, we're willing to listen and either jump on or come up with some ideas to provide content.
I think as far as the most important thing is being in touch with your client. Like Collin and Nick were saying, whether it's pizzas, coffees, a phone call, checking in on them. You guys are reaching out to your clients. I reach out to my agents, with a call or a text, and check on them, see how they're doing, how their families are doing. I mean, this is a crazy time that we're all dealing with. 2008, I don't think I went through that. I don't think this is anything like that. This is, the real estate market, with the good agents, the people that are out there that we're dealing with, are getting deals done, and we're getting those things taken care of. So I don't see it as big of a hit as we saw in 08, 09, 10. I mean, yeah, you're going to see some foreclosures, you're going to see some of that come across because people lost their jobs, but I think a lot of companies have reacted quickly to keep their people working, to keep things going. The economy, hopefully will bounce back a lot faster than we did in 08. But I think the most important from anyone on this call standpoint is just staying in touch with your base, with your clients, with your agents, it's just going to grow.
I'd be curious in seeing, what are you guys doing with videos? Obviously, I think across the board over here, video content creation for all that matters. Are you guys still doing it? Or have you been doing it? I mean, it's a pretty high value to, pay for, but we've recoiled. We had a huge platform that was all set up for the next 12 months that we were, committed to doing, but we've now taken that step back. So I'd be interested in seeing what you guys are doing, if you still feel that's valuable.
Yeah, I actually just started doing the videos a couple months ago and started ramping those up, but we're still doing Matterports for everything. We've been doing those for years, but that's been real helpful, like weeding buyers out before they even come on site. So I'm having any potential buyer, they've got to be pre-approved, ready to write. They did the Matterport walkthrough. They looked at the floor plan. They're willing to wear booties and masks. And it's weeding out probably a third of the showing requests that I get. They're like, the layout doesn't work, so we won't schedule.
So
Matterport's been great though.
Yes, we've done video for quite a bit for listings, but have you guys done it for like other avenues of marketing for your teams, your companies? And I guess like one of the things we were creating was an idea of, and I think it's holding true for COVID too, that, being a community leader, whether it's your neighbor that you live in or the neighbor that you do business in the most, to being able to have that articulation to your base that, you are the Logan Square person, you are the Edgewater person, or whatever you are. We had a pretty distinct campaign that was going to be set up so that we could, convey that message and ensure that there was a little bit of a higher level of business being provided, not in the interest of selling people more condos or buying houses with other people, but so that we looked more of, a fruitful company, in our own office.
Yeah, I've seen Dominic or Pino cranking those out recently. They're really good. I don't know if you follow him on Facebook or not, but he's posting a lot of those just neighborhood videos, local business videos, just to promote his area. They've been really solid.
Have you guys been doing any of that though?
No, I want to.
Yeah. I mean, it's very expensive, and in my opinion, takes quite a bit of time before there's a scene, a realized gain from it, but interesting.
I'll let you know.
Right. I want to hear Sohail. You've been quiet in the background over there.
I'm just observing. I mean, I honestly, I think that I just keep the business simple. No matter what happens out there, someone's always looking to buy and someone's always looking to sell.
For sure.
So I don't overanalyze it, because if you do that, it's going to throw you off track of what you really need to do. You're going to start thinking negative. You're going to stop yourself from moving forward. So, I mean, I personally believe that it's always a mindset over anything else.
Right.
Everything works, right? Just don't put all your emphasis into one thing.
Sure.
And to keep it simple, maybe you say like, okay, I'm going to do 5 videos a day in whatever capacity. And I'm referring just to social media videos. Or if you're going to do like a big video, but it's structured and streamlined, and just follow it. And if you have it structured and streamlined, you follow it. Whenever you need to make a change, like, you can pinpoint it, because every day if you follow the same structure, that's how you get better. You just becoming better at doing the simple things every single day. And you do that over time, it creates massive results.
For sure. So are you and your team doing the more basic Facebook, Instagram videos, as opposed to like in a well-orchestrated, a videographer created the content?
So I do a video goes out to my database every 2 weeks through a company called Viral Marketing.
Nice.
I have someone that handles all my social media platform marketing. I have to start doing more Instagram live videos. I'm not consistent with them. But most of my business just comes from calling my past clients, calling expired, canceled, for sale by owners.
For sure.
I door knock. I stick to the basic principles, and I don't deviate from them.
Right.
No matter what goes on out there, whatever new programs are out there, Facebook marketing, I mean, I just keep my business very simple, and it's worked.
For sure. No, I agree to that point. That's what first year we've done, really honing in the basics, developing more of a stronger foundation. So agreed.
Definitely.
One thing that we're using, or that I started using, that I'm trying to coach our agents on, is Instagram TV or IGTV. What we found is a lot of people right now are asking for, videos on the property. And so I started doing Matterport again. I think a lot of you guys are too. I look at some of your marketing, and Matterport's great, but when you're driving down the road, you're probably not going to sit there and try to want to move the little arrow around and things like that. And a YouTube video doesn't always catch it either. It's not as quite easy sometimes to just send someone a YouTube video. IGTV has been pretty successful for us. I found that my clients seem to like to see what my other inventory is, and it's all there. If you use almost like a playlist on YouTube, you've got what they call a series on IGTV. So I've got it on mine, and it's been pretty popular. I can say, well, go look at what else is out there. And so I'm now starting to do that with my education stuff as well. Had a friend of mine, we talked about some diversity issues. We're going to have one of my lenders on there. So I really like IGTV. I think it's kind of catching up to YouTube in terms of video.
Okay.
From an inspector standpoint, would that be beneficial in any way from the realtor side? Is that something I should look into? Do you think that's beneficial on my side?
To do videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I have an inspector that he does a lot of videos, and I mean, I watch them.
Okay.
Here and there.
I think it might be a cool part of the inspection, actually, if you see something, in the electrical panel, and you, instead of just a still photo of it, like if there's a double tap, breaker or something, you explain what that is. That'd be a cool resource for later for the buyers.
Yeah, definitely. If there are common problems, that come up consistently, like you could just do little snippets, videos of how to overcome those or what to look for, or, you just got to get comfortable being in front of the camera, which I hate, but that's why I've turned it over to my crew.
Sure.
And then we put it on IGTV and YouTube. And I had a realtor reach out just last week who was like, hey, I missed this segment and I'd really like to use it as part of my sales tool. Where can I find that and can I use that? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, go here. And just send it to them. So it can, it can be very helpful, like down the road.
Good. Yeah, like what Chuck mentioned, putting a video of a double tap and kind of pointing to it, seeing what happens. I've done that on a very micro level of taking a video of, say, a water heater or a roof that is in pretty bad shape and I want them to see it without having to go up there. I'll take a video and either text it to them once I'm back home. So that's something I've done, but actually putting it out there for people other than my clients, that's something I haven't done. But that's an interesting take, kind of what Collin said. What are you doing the rest of this year to maybe prep for next year? It's not a bad idea.
And if you don't feel comfortable with it, there are companies that'll manage that for you and help you. It costs, but
Sure.
If it's a jumping off point to get you comfortable with it, that's an option.
Okay. Any other things you'd like to see inspectors do or not do? We could be very open right now.
I'm just kidding.
Andy, what? Andy,
I said more videos, please. That was a cheap shot. I'm just kidding. I think it's great. I also had, another idea. You do hey, this is what this should look like, and this is what this looks like. You could. I feel like with a home inspector, you don't want to have too much fun with it, but you could have some fun with it. Get some images on there that are, people remember.
Sure. Okay. Good.
Fall will be interesting. I would still like to, focus on that. I think Collin brought up a good point where, what are people doing now to, ensure the pipeline, is good for the next 6 months or so. So that's cool. I like the pizza thing. I was just curious if anybody else has any other ideas on that, or that they'd be willing to share.
What did I send you, Andy?
What's that?
What did I send you?
I love it. Yeah. Sent me some and I said, dude, thanks. You didn't have to do that. And he's like, I want you guys to be safe. So it's super cool.
So
there you go.
A Facebook thing that I said, obviously, real estate is essential. We want to take care of everybody in the real estate community. So if you would like, I got these masks from a company that I researched online. I think everybody knows Frank Moncho. Frank's a good buddy of mine. And, we were just talking, and I just did a loan for one of the regional directors of Home Depot. And so, I had to use that card, and I was like, hey man, I need as many of those N95 masks as you can get for me. And so he's like, fine, I'll get you a couple boxes, and got a couple boxes, and then start distributing a couple to realtors. And I was like, wow, man, this is people are snapping these up. So those N95 masks are impossible to get now. They're like the people wait in line at Home Depot for the 2 boxes that get put on the shelf every day. So then I, tried to, Marky Lemons and I were talking, and we were talking about doing a real estate agent survival kit. And we were gonna, put masks, hand sanitizers, and gloves and distribute them out to real estate agents in really, really affected areas like the South and West Side. And I came across a company that for every mask that we bought, they would donate one to first responders here in Chicago. So, it was like a win-win. So not only would I have this great marketing ploy, and we made sure that they weren't branded or anything like that. I thought that was kind of tacky if I put Ryan Cotter. Yeah, nobody wants to see Ryan Cotter on the face. But you know, it turned into like an amazing thing because it got a bunch of mass. I sent some to all my good friends like like Andy as well and stuff like that, and we were able then to raise a bunch of money to buy PPEs that we donated to Schroeder Hospital. So all of like it just like evolved into stuff. So like I would recommend like if you want to, I can send you where I bought these. Like I said, for every one that you buy, the company donates one to local first responders, and so you could put it out there as a marketing thing to past clients. That's one thing I did, made me feel good about it, and it got a bunch of people like saying really good things. So that was one thing that I did that didn't do the pizza thing, but something else kind of like in the scope of what is needed today. Not that pizza's never ever not needed.
True.
I think the point for what we did is just changing the tone of what our message is to who we deal with, our sphere, our base, and making sure that we're removing the sales pitch. Even if you look at our mailers and our e-blast, as opposed to showing the inventory that we've got, we're now doing things that are helping on a more micro level. Like if your neighborhood's offering certain services because your kids are out of school, we're providing that insight that neighborhood's got this program, or somebody else is doing something different in the interest that we know that everyone's home. So we've been trying to, facilitate. We are still real estate agents. We still can sell real estate, but as opposed to trying to do the hard sell, we're trying to add value in different ways that isn't necessarily going to render, I'm going to opt out because you're trying to pitch me something and it's, February 30th and the peak of COVID is just starting, And I think that's probably going to be the same way that we're going to be doing this moving forward.
I love the approach.
Thank
you. We are up here on the hour. Anybody have any final thoughts, or Nick, fire away.
I was just acknowledging. No, I would just say the one thing that I would add, because I think this is a really great conversation, was just to be consistent. I think that all of us are kind of returning to work in our own. Well, none of us stopped working completely by any means, but be consistent in your routines. I found myself doing my routine later and later in the day. And then all of a sudden it was like, wow, you're starting your day at 9 when I used to start it at 6:30 a.m. And it just all of a sudden I was less productive. And I found that the more that we get into this cycle of, well, I'm just going to work from home and then this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. We're all independent contractors. I think at least us real estate agents are on, and I think Ryan is as a lender. We have to stay consistent in our message to our clients and in the lead generation techniques we use, because the market is going to continue to shift and evolve as everything goes on.
Yeah, I agree with Nick. The routine that you have is what's going to lead you to success, but you have to follow it, and you have to always tailor it as you have progress. So just an example for me, I think waking up early has helped me, and having a set schedule broken down into 15 to 30 minute increments from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. But what I do is I try to cram as much as I can in like a 15-minute increment, and I time myself. So every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes, I time myself. And so I know that I have this much time to be able to get whatever I have set for myself within that time frame. But it builds massive efficiency within your business or within your life.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely, especially if you guys have a team, keeping them on task. I know I have an attorney and a couple of paralegals that work for me. I think one of the biggest switches for us was everyone going and working from home and, getting back to the swing of things, keeping them on task and things of that nature, I think are very helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good stopping point. And I want to be respectful of everybody's time. And if somebody has like a something at 3 o'clock, I don't want them to feel awkward for, you know, hopping off. So hopefully everybody got some value out of this. I picked up some pointers too, and even some of the questions that you guys asked, I'm going to actually maybe ask on future ones of these to kind of foster more conversations. So thank you. Let's see here. I'll email out everybody's info in case they want to connect after offline. One thing I will share, and somebody said, that we're working on, I think all the partners know this. I don't know if some of the realtors do, but since I got y'all, we're super excited for this bad boy. We are launching a digital app. Oh, I'm so excited.
Ooh.
Oh man. Let me
like that.
Oh, so it is completely free. Actually, we will charge for it eventually, but anybody who's on our distribution list and all of our current partners are grandfathered in. So people will be able to access the publication digitally. The hard copy, nothing is changing. We're still doing what we're doing. I've been getting questions of, hey, is this going to replace what you're doing? The top 500 agents are still going to get the hard copy. When the events do resume, we're still going to invite the top 500 agents to the events and the features, but every realtor will have access to it. So it's better exposure for our partners. And then the realtors can kind of, have it at their fingertips. So just something cool that we've been working on. And it happened. I got pitched on it in December. And I was like, yeah, that's great. I'm not going to have time to take care of that. And then COVID happened, and here we are. So, so be on the lookout for this. The challenge is uploading all the past issues and making sure everything's tagged properly. But we're super pumped for that. So, God willing, that will be ready before 4th of July. So that's just something kind of cool for us that we've been working on that I've had a little bit more time to do since I'm obviously home with my kids getting tons of work done, right? So anyway, I appreciate everybody's time. If you're interested in doing another one of these, possibly just with a different group to maybe shuffle the deck a little bit, I'll send a follow-up with this with the recording. Just email me back and say, hey, I'd love to get on another one of these. Obviously, I think, we would want some time to elapse. I think next week would be too soon, but maybe in end of the month or maybe in July or something. So if you are interested in doing that, just shoot me an email and we'll get you a calendar. We'll try to set another one of these up for possibly July or even August. Cool.
Great. Thanks, Andy, for putting it
Okay,
together.
thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
everybody.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Adios.